coming into the straight. You can see over on the right-hand side, you've got some Delature riders leading it out. I believe that's Dan Daly who's getting into the front. It looks like Robbie Allen now taking it up for the Hydraplay team. Robbie Allen leading them down. Niall Woe trying to find some space, but he's not going to get there. It looks like Hydraplay coming through the centre, and here we go. We've got a big, good finish. I think we've got Johnny Garrett taking the lead.
Welcome to Week 8, Season 41, Heffron Park. Another classic. The seasons are getting close to that halfway point. And so to break it all down, we're joined by myself, one very average cyclist, Mr. Alexis Kaless. We have a man who they say Enrico Colnago gets to sign his bike. That is, of course, Mr. John Sunde. Welcome, John. And joining us is the world's most unbiased sideline commentator, Vaughan McVilly.
Hello, lads. Woohoo!
Because if you were there on Tuesday night, you saw how Vaughan was just laser focused on being accurate as he could be, as he called that finish, made sure he stayed neutral, as we saw Johnny Garrett of Hydraplay cross the line first, B grade getting the win. A crowd of about 50 making it to the finishing line sprint. An unbelievable photo.
Big numbers.
So, John, give us a wrap. What did you see? What did you make of Tuesday night?
Well, last handicap for 2025 before next week's 48th East Trophy race, scratch race for A grade, 20 laps, and BC handicap over 15 laps. So, it was interesting for our last handicap for the year. Wind was down, and then all of a sudden at 6 o'clock, when the race started, the wind came up. We had this howling southerly, reduced A-grade bunch, I think, of only 16 starters up against...
13 starters?
13 starters, yeah.
Up against 33 in
33
B and 30 in C.
Yeah, and so... I was most probably A-grade, unfortunately, got held back on the line 5 or 10 seconds longer than they should have because it was clear that 33 in B grade. And when you factor in the power and the might of the squads, you've got Dulwich Hill.
Yeah, Dulwich Hill.
Hydraplay. Yeah, you got a Hydraplay. You've got Centennial Park. You've got a few guys in there for Baz's squad. It was just too much strength for them. And I think A-grade realised on those closing 2 laps they weren't going to make it and changed their race tactics accordingly.
And so, Vaughan, we'll get to the very end, but what was happening during the race? Like, was there a point where A-grade you knew they weren't going to make the catch? How close did they get to making the catch? I actually have no idea.
They got extremely close, to be honest. With about 3 laps to go or even 4 laps to go, I was like, okay, A-grade will catch. Me and Gussie were looking at each other going, this is line ball. It's 10 seconds a lap, which is normally, what they
at 6 laps to go. Was it 6 laps to go? No, it's 10 laps to go, or 60 seconds at 6 laps to go. So it was possible, but the A-grade just lost too many. Only 8 out of the 13 starters finished. Oh, by the way, the 13 starters, I've actually dropped one off there. I'd call it 13 and a half starters because much to everybody's surprise, there were 14 riders on the start line. Brad
Millsy
started.
Just warming up. He went to had his gravel tyres on there, so he put them when 35 psi up to about 39 or 49 psi, and rolled out with them. Unbelievable.
How long did he ride for?
Oh, I think it was about 3 laps, and he was back sitting on the sideline having a rest, resting his.
So, for those that don't know, he has broken bones in his leg, doesn't he?
No, a fractured pelvis with a screw in it. He's got a plate in his shoulder, and he had 6 fractured ribs, but they clearly have all healed up. But the Millsy reincarnation story over the last 4 weeks has been nothing short of remarkable. And let's not forget, he's the defending East Trophy race holder. And I think he's got ambitions to be on that start line next Tuesday. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, one thing that did happen in the A grade race, I think it was about 5 laps to go or 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go it was. If you look at the DNFs, you've got Will Clark, Gwyn, and Dan Newman. Something happened over the back because suddenly
Yeah,
they
because
come.
they all lost the wheel, didn't they?
Yeah, they all lost wheel, and that sort of cost them. And even those boys weren't probably pulling too many more turns. It was definitely a slower lap looking at the lap times, and that was probably all that B grade needed. They were sort of staring at each other as A grade were coming down the second pimple and B grade were going up the pimple. They were literally staring at each other for those last sort of 2 or 3 laps, going, we might have it here. But they definitely took their foot off the gas, even though the fastest lap of the entire race was the last lap, and that was B grade at 2:45.
Yeah, quite
Woo.
incredible, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
and in fact, if you look at Josh Dunford's last lap video, you can just see the speed and strength that they've got and the momentum that's in the bunch. In fact, that's most probably a good video to break down.
Well,
Well,
you wouldn't believe it, John.
look at
Speak,
this.
There it
and
is.
you shall receive.
So here it is. This is Josh Dunford just coming over the pimple. Now who is that?
So
Yep.
and there's someone who's just drifted. We just can't make out who that is. There's a
Yeah,
couple of riders. So okay, there's a couple of
just
Dulwich
drop
Hill
it.
No,
riders.
this is
Yep.
Josh moving up. So
Okay,
this is
Niall
Josh.
Kwan is on has just moved on to the front. You've got the
Yep.
2 CPAC riders, and
You
is
got
that a Dulwich Hill rider? Let's have
No,
a
you got the
look.
2 Hydraplay riders. So basically, that's right now. What's happening is Niall's just gone to the front.
Yeah, that's Dan Daly,
Yep.
Dulwich
So
Hill.
Niall's on the front now. He's just
Yeah,
taken over from Ash. Ash
but
has slotted back.
watch the purple shorts and white top of Reece Williams.
Yeah.
There he is, just on the right. He goes a little bit wide. He loses the wheel. He gets back. He moves up.
Yeah.
Superb recovery by him to hit the grass and be able to bounce back.
And if you're going to do something, you may as well do something like this.
And there's Robbie. Robbie on the flyer.
Robbie Allen takes the massive flyer,
Look
launching
Johnny
it.
G is. Look, Johnny Quads is way there on the left. He's 4 back at this point. He goes around Ash. There's Niall. He gets out of the saddle, but Reece just launches it. He goes from the right side of the track to the left-hand side. Johnny gets going at about 50 RPM there. He is.
Johnny's just winding it along. Nice little punch.
Robbie explodes. Reece goes to kick, and then Johnny just launches off his wheel. He's got Luke Cromer in the maroon, and there's Ant-Man, Anthony Challoner, Jeremy Cannon on the far right and third.
There they are.
Yeah.
Jeremy Cannon. Let's not forget he was riding C grade a week ago.
Yeah.
Well, you know why Jeremy Cannon did so well. We gave him the Rider of the Week award last week.
No doubt. The power of Chargrill Charlie's has just and Luke Cromer. I also think it's on your website there. The finishing line, though, you actually see there's about 10 riders. If John, if you kind of move your head slightly left or right, you can see how many riders.
I'll move over. You can see it was most probably our biggest blanket finish, and that's the depth of riders from left to right, and also in finishing order. I had trouble going through the finish line video, just picking out. Oh, who's that? Hang on. There's another wheel behind that rider. Who's that?
Mr. Kraft, as well, is very well positioned right there at the finish.
Yeah. Crafty, what was he top? Crafty was 14th across the line, first C grader, and well in front of the others. So just quickly on the finishing order, we had Johnny Garrett Sinclair, more commonly known as Johnny Quads, Luke Cromer from Randwick Botany, Jeremy Cannon, our C-grade winner the week before. Anthony Challoner, you can see Anthony just in the red in between.
Yeah, he's just here, isn't he, between Crafty?
No, to the left, in the red, in the grey helmet. You can see Jeremy, so Jeremy Cannon there in third looking over.
Yes.
He's got third. Ant-Man told me after he just got a little bit boxed in.
Right.
And then look at the dark horse, excuse the pun, Francesco.
Yes.
In the white helmet and the white jersey, white socks on the far right, Francesco Piazzani.
Yes.
So just sneaking in for fifth because, Fran hasn't been down to Heffron for, I don't know, three or
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. First race last week, suffered a mechanical, came back this week, runs fifth.
Yeah.
And after all his effort, Dan Daly in the red on the far right there in the white helmet, he was sixth. But there's Reese Williams in the purple bibs, almost smack bang in the middle of the shot. He ended up seventh because he did a massive amount of work coming into that straight.
Yep.
And
look how
beating,
easy Paul
Ant-Man
Craft did
beating
it to win C.
Yeah.
He's on
Just
his
following
wheels.
wheels.
He's just cruising.
The Ant-Man finally beat his son. That was good. Well done, mate. You finally did it.
You can just see Harvey to the right of Reese Williams there in the red jersey, and of course, look at the orange helmet.
Yeah.
What guy's sitting up and thinking, "Hey, how easy is this?"
Yeah. If he actually would have sprinted, he could have won the race. Like if he just would have used his tops.
The thing I absolutely love about this photo is Ash Bennett Freeman is the white helmet directly behind
Johnny. Yeah.
Johnny, and Ash finished 13th. When you look at that photo, it's like, how is he?
That's right, he did too. Yeah.
He looks so close. And then the other one is Robbie. So our plan was always for Robbie to launch towards the end and make everybody chase, which he did exactly that. We thought he had no legs left, but he launched.
And it was Reese that chased. And if it wasn't for Reese's momentum off that corner when Robbie launched, I don't think the rest of the guys rode off Reese's move.
Yep.
But if Reese hadn't launched that move, I reckon Robbie's going to be a good chance. You can just see Robbie's head. You can see his blue helmet
just
over
dipping his head
shoulder.
down there.
His head's down. He's gone.
Initially, I thought he was the world's worst lead-out man. Because I thought if he was meant to be leading out everyone, you've often got to have someone on your wheel.
We had Ash and Big Ads leading out the J quads. Ash did the full sprint down the back straight. I think he averaged he was on the front at the start of that video. That was Ash, and then Niall came through at the bottom of the first pimple, and then Niall led it back over, and then Ash went back to the front, and then that's when Robbie came after the hairpin come hammering past. And so the idea was, because it was a headwind, if we make everyone chase Robbie, we can just sit back and wait. But to be honest, J-Quad still had to launch that sprint pretty early, and it was just, as you said, about 50 RPM, but he averaged 800 watts from the bottom of the straight to the finish line. So massive power, low cadence. So really, really happy. The other thing I love about that photo is I have the microphone nowhere near my mouth, but I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me yelling.
Hey, let me tell you, Vaughan, everyone could hear you. But the impressive thing with Johnny was when he got up to Reese's wheel and Reese got out of the saddle and kicked, although, Johnny was still sort of just rotating at sort of that 50 RPM, his ability to then just pick it up quite a few revs and come off Reese's wheel and hold and increase that power. Because Luke was coming quite fast.
Whoa, very fast. And so was Ant-Man. Ant-Man was flying. Yep. And so you had Big Ads leaving his big ass in the way too. We had a couple of people saying, you guys were blocking. It's like, hey, he done his job. He was just, freewheeling. So I think Ant-Man and a few others had to sort of, get around. But Ant-Man was screaming towards the finish.
He felt a bit frustrated, actually. He told me after that.
I bet.
He had to just back off a little bit. There just wasn't enough space. But that just goes to reinforce how many riders there were across the track and coming down the track. So we talked about Crafty coming across the line 14th for C grade. Young Luke Bayliss, he had a good ride. Got second C grade. Where was he across the line? He was
just before you, it was funny. With about 3 laps to go, I actually heard the Centennial Park boys arguing with the Hydra players around the back, saying, well, you put someone on the front. No, you do the work. You've got the numbers. And so I think they were all very, cognizant of the fact they could win the race, but everyone was already planning, well, how do we win? And so no one wanted to quite sacrifice themselves yet to ensure that they got that victory. But obviously the smarts of Hydraplay ran out. Here's a bit, I look at all these numbers there. We see 8, 13, 30 of 33 B graders finished, 19 of 30 C graders.
And to
Was
be honest, mate, the B graders all worked. Like it wasn't. We had a plan to put some work early, rest in the middle. If it looked like it was on, we'd put a little bit more work, but definitely save the legs of J Quads and Big Ash.
Yep.
And then with 4 laps to go, Ash and Big Ads to come to the front, and then Robbie to do the flyer at the end to try and make everyone chase. That was the plan. But for the whole night, me and Gussie were saying on the commentary, it was like there was always new riders coming to the front. Mark Rowling doing massive turns. Like so many people were doing huge amounts of effort.
Yeah,
Niall
Brad
again
Drummond
doing.
coming, Luke Crookshank,
Yeah, Crookshank did heaps of work.
Hong,
Yep.
Will
Mace.
Hersey, he was one of the first riders through the C grade bunch.
Yep, Hershey Bar.
You know, and so that's the funny thing. You know, you look at Joel Shube, he was there.
Yep.
You know,
Mason
Luke
Ward.
Cruikshank again. Like all those riders are actually at the bottom. You weren't just sitting on; they were actually almost all working, and as were the riders at the front. So it's like you had 30 people there basically rolling through. Hence, probably why they caught. What they catch C grade with 6, 7 to go. Again, it was pretty early catch again, I think.
Yeah, what was it? About 5, wasn't it?
Yep,
5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 to go. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Controversially, I would say, was it almost then one of the easier nights that we've had this year, given probably I will exclude A grade. I'd almost include A grade, really, but how many people finished on the night? So I wonder whether the block headwind.
Despite the fact that it was a sort of headwind down the straight, but I think it just goes to show when the wind comes up late like that, and it really did come up late, almost on the dot at 6. Maybe it just doesn't have the same. I don't know.
I think it's almost
that
the straight is so long that so many riders can just kind of bunch up and kind of recover and use that period of time. And you'll get the same 5 or 6 on the front. They're working. Everyone just hides along. And I think that allows, and then the back, it's kind of relatively then easy as you kind of zip your way around out of the Squircle and over the Pimples. And so, yeah, maybe the southerly, it's certainly particularly for the cigarettes, you know, it's the slowest night when it's like that, but maybe it's also the easiest for a rider to finish Heffron Park is the southerly down the straight, because those numbers of finishes, that's almost a miracle. In most weeks.
Yeah. Again, I'll say that with the average speed was 42.9 for B grade. That's what Johnny Quads' average speed was,
so
and
3K an hour slower than the week before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean that's a massive drop.
But it just shows you that A grade was only 45. That's
once again, it's the same difference, isn't it?
Yep.
3K slower because they that very very fast week. That was 2 weeks ago when they did 48. But
and so we'll just call out the so obviously we had first across the line was Johnny Garrett from East. From East, Luke Cromer was second from Randwick Botany. Third was Jeremy Cannon, who made his promotion, as we mentioned earlier, from C grade. Then we've got first across the line from C grade was Mr. Paul Craft of Central Coast. Luke Bayliss was second, and then Jason Morgan.
Morgs on the podium again.
On the podium again in C grade.
And then a lot of work.
A grade, we had Scott Law in first.
Just the story about before we go to A grade.
Why maintain momentum? Go on, John, please.
You're only reading from a script. What are you talking about? Just on C grade. Firstly, first junior B grader was Harvey Challoner.
Right.
In 10th. And we got those top 3 there in C grade. And then the first C grade junior, once again, Josh Westmoreland, backing up from his prize from last week.
It was, I will say, with Josh Westmoreland, I mean, unfortunately, you won't be able to watch this video anymore because it's on YouTube and he's been banned from that. But
I'll give you a login, Josh.
He's doing very well. I really enjoy watching him, but I must admit, he's probably only got a few more weeks where if he keeps chopping everyone into those corners and ducking in on the inside, eventually people are going to say no more. But I still think I love watching him ride. I think full crack. I was also watching him having a dig on the front down the straight. The little guy, he was obviously the most aerodynamic of everyone in C grade.
Yeah,
absolutely. He was having a great race. He was having a good dig. But yeah, just watch those inside dives.
Maybe he was. Maybe I see he finished just in front of Kian. Maybe that's why he beat Kian. Is that Kian couldn't get any
No
slip
protection.
off him.
Josh should have to be the worst wheel to sit behind of any rider, like almost in the world. Like
He's a midget.
you're just getting
But
no
the big
win.
story of the night, buried there in Seagrave, was our first woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's this? Emma Jeffcott.
What?
Emma Jeffcott looking well positioned in the middle of the bunch on that last lap, and unfortunately suffers a puncher on the last lap.
It wasn't just on the last lap. It was actually coming over the pimple. She's made it over the pimple, and there's basically she was turning left to start the last little kick, the last dog. It's there. She's flat. Like that's so close to the finishing line.
Yeah, she should have just sprinted on a flat tire, really.
Yeah.
Did she pick a bike up and run? Like, did she just start her triathlon legs?
She still might have won first woman, but well done to Adrian Tui. First time at Tuesday night, Heffron. She was. There were only two girls left in the race at that point. It was Emma in the box seat and Adrian just behind her. So well done, Adrian. Your first time at Tuesday night racing. Good to have you there, and you did really well.
Yeah, that's right. I owe her a bit of an apology too, because I jumped out in the middle of the road because she was sprinting for the line as A grade were just launching behind her.
I did notice that. Actually, as we go into the A grade talk about their finish, I for a moment there I thought Tom Chester was somehow going to run her over.
Yeah,
because he was coming very hard and fast, chopping to the left, right where she was, completely, oblivious to the fact that it was an A grade sprint right behind her.
Right. Yeah. And so that was Scott Law in first, ahead of Scott Ollie Penny and Tom Chester of Carnegie. So he's made the trip up from Melbourne, I assume.
Oh, no, he's in Canberra, I think, Tommy, these days working for Trek. So he was up at the weekend riding in the bunch. Just on Scotty's win. Well done, Scotty, on
2 weeks in a row.
Overall win last week. But you got to go down to 39th spot before they crossed the line. So, they were a fair way off the pace. But then again, as I said earlier, the dynamic of their race changes. When they realise they're not going to make the catch on the last lap, they completely start thinking about who's going to lead out who for the sprint. But I'm trying to think how many second places Ollie's had this first 8 weeks.
Yeah, he must almost be feeling a little bitter. I mean, the only relief to everyone in A grade is the fact that Richie Lang, thankfully, got 7th. They must like if he would have then got second, everyone would have been, oh my gosh, like this is just inevitable that he is going to take it. Probably also say Phil Lucas had his best finish of the season in 5th in A grade, and Riyadh there in 4th. But it's hard to know where those dynamics kind of.
Well, I think there were only 3 sprinting, and that was Scotty, Ollie, and Tommy. And the others were chasing. They finished. Riyadh was only one spot back behind Adrian. And then Phil and Sexy Paul, they kind of just rolled him behind. Across the line. But
that's
rounds out all the places for week 8.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was an interesting week because obviously with the Tour of Bright, obviously took out a number of the A graders, tired the legs of some of the B riders as well, who I know who had made it. So it kind of did make it a bit of an unusual week to kind of see some of those riders racing, and that's also why the numbers were a little bit down on A grade. It's the only possible reason I could think of as to why they would be down. But with so much great racing, it leads to an award now that
hat change. Here we go.
Wow. I mean, mate, that is some special stuff that you've got going on there, John. It's very impressive. I'm also just kind of actually just looking for something else here because what I find like Heffron, Tuesday night podcast and the Char Grill Charlies, it's almost becoming like the Super Bowl with advertising. And the reason I say that is, how about the Chargrill Charlie's jersey? It was also, we
Oh,
had
yeah.
you with the hat, and
Yes.
now we have it being displayed prominently in the bunch by such an elite athlete there.
That's
Wow, look at
right.
that. Like,
Yeah.
but
He's
like, that's it. Every week,
nose
there's just
breathing.
these more and more. You just got these sponsors falling in, just wanting to be involved in the sport.
Well, might I add, I think they've picked the right athlete, right cyclist for the exposure.
Oh, absolutely. Because he manages to, he's there at the front. He's also right there at the back. He makes sure he
Yeah.
crosses the line almost last every week. So every
Yeah.
spectator
So
and
the
every
great
rider.
thing is, they've got the front of the race covered and the back of the race covered.
That's right. Always
At
there,
any given
zipping
lap.
around. But after such a good night of racing, Vaughan, who are you?
Yeah, look, I can't be biased, so that's going to be
No,
hard.
not at all. Going for A grade?
Yeah. Well, actually, who I thought was really impressive was the Ant-Man. I thought his sprint was absolutely epic. I watched it from afar. He came from quite a few riders back. He had to sort of weave and motor to get up to fourth. I thought that was an absolute epic, and to beat his son, which I didn't think would ever happen again. So, as a total sort of left of field, Ant-Man, you get my vote.
Wow. Okay. I must admit, when the hidden spoke votes have come through, and one of them was indeed for Brad Mills, because they simply said, if that has got to be the hardest, probably the hardest rider of the week. Like, if you're talking about people wanting to make an impression.
There's a couple of other words you could use too.
That is just some. Who else was there? I'm just kind of trying to find their secret messages that they've sent me. So that one came up. Can't find the others. But John, who are you going to vote for? Just while I find the
I've given
results.
this some thought, because you usually have about 3 or 4 different options. Crafty's up there. First C grade win. He's on the other side of the microphone, so it's certainly a lot quieter now that he's racing. I thought he deserves a mention, and I kind of go with Vaughan's pick for Ant-Man, considering that 4 weeks ago he wasn't even finishing. But he told me yesterday that because he's now starting to ride in the weekend, the form's coming. So well done, Ant-Man. But my rider of the week, I'm going for Johnny Quads. He's turned up from the home country a few months ago. He's living his best life. He's turned up to the bunch. He's doing the bunch rides. He's hooked up with the Hydra players, and he's pulled off a bloody magnificent Tuesday night win. So he gets my vote for the week.
All right.
Wow. Okay. So
he'll be stoked.
And Vaughan didn't even pay me for that.
No.
That we know of.
And the thing I like about Johnny's win, he is just so pumped. So excited.
Well, he's working for me now. He literally sits just behind me, and wow, have we heard a lot about that win since he is absolutely over the moon. And to be honest, all of the boys have just been pumped because he put his hand up last week. He said, "Can I have a crack at winning?" And we all went, "Yep." Ash turned around and goes, "All right, I'll lead you out." And then Big Ads, a little quick shout out here, actually. Big Ads goes, "I'd love to come, but I got the kids." Michelle Ferris rings me, or she's on our chat. She goes, "I'll come and look after the kids, Ads, so you can race." So Michelle gets up on the hill, looks after all the kids on Ferris Crash, as we called it up there on the hill. So yeah, the boys were super duper pumped. So thanks.
Yeah, I mean, Adam McCoy. I mean, the guy just turns up and just like, what a motor.
Yeah.
And
an ass. Yeah, he's got a big ass.
So
bigger than computers.
I think he does every lap as well. Doesn't seem to miraculously get a flat every week. So yeah, I really like that. Paul Craft, obviously, first in C grade to hang in there and be so close. And as you can see, he was cruising at the end. Johnny Quads is probably just happy that he didn't have to go up against Paul Craft and Quads.
Yeah.
Because you never know what could have happened there. As we mentioned, I thought Joshua Westmoreland had his best ride of the season, but just those corners probably counted him out for me. Emma Jeffcoat, I mean, again, what a worker. God, she just has no luck. Like, she was in everything for C grade, and was, super impressive to watch. Johnny Quads, great rides. Niall Wan, I thought just did a mountain of work, and I really liked. Do I go now Johnny Quads or Old Man Challinor? Because not only has he stepped up his racing, he's stepped up his kit game. And so for me, that's almost, just as
Oh, wow.
important. Because as you know, I was a little bit critical of him last season. And so he went and did the redesign just for us.
That's the skin suit, by the way.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
The race skin suit.
But look, I'll say second place will be Anthony Challinor, and I'll go with you guys for the race win for Johnny Quads, only by a factor of 0.01. So I think with that, Brad Mills an honourable mention as well from the hidden spokes, but it is indeed Johnny Garrett of East Cycling, who is
Well
our
done, Johnny.
Char Grill Charlie's rider of the week.
Yeah.
And
dining out on chicken for another week.
that's it. And Harvey Challinor, perhaps he gets the junior rider of the week.
Well,
he gets the
maybe
prize.
we could have a junior rider of the week as well. That's a good idea.
So Harvey Challinor, again, I mean, only last season he was riding C grade.
Yeah, amazing.
So he's certainly on that growth spurt range as well.
He reckons he got elbowed out by his dad.
Probably.
Oh, this is quite possible.
Quite possible. Right, but Dad had the more aero helmet. He said, "No, you don't need it, son."
Yeah, boof.
And also the other one we really right up, Jeremy Cannon. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Like normally people are pretty shy when they step up from C to B, and it's a big step for him to be pushing his way on full first class credit. So that of course leads us not only to the Spurge last lap, but of course our first monument.
Work for one of his teammates, get them into position. Well, Hupper in the grass, it's getting all crazy. It's all about position now. Get on the wheel, get on your lead out, man. You're gonna make it. Find your lead out, man. Let's go, let's rock it on, people. Let's give them a big round of applause. And it's game on. A grade, they're not going to
First monument of the season
Oh, yeah,
is next week.
You know what the excitement is in March prior to Milan San Remo? Well, I feel the same vibe.
Yeah.
When we look forward to the first Tuesday night Heffron monument of the summer, the 48th East Trophy Race. Current holder, none other than Brad Mills. And if you look at this week's race promo poster, you can just see that expression on Millsy's face last year when he crossed the line. And I'm wondering, was it at that point when he crossed the line that he knew what was coming?
Yeah.
Probably. But keeping it on the positive. So for those of you that don't know, it's an A with a select number of B grade riders who race 20 laps. And then the B remainer race C grade in the usual handicap. So that means B will go off, but they still have to catch C grade to get to the front of the race to win that B and C grade race.
And so that's just over the normal 15.
And that's over the normal 15 laps. So what typically happens is the B and C grade race will finish. All of those riders carefully leave the track, and then you can come back to the start and watch, the remaining 3 or 4 laps of the East Trophy race, the first monument of the season. So just a reminder, B have to catch C, because often B grade race it like, it's just, we're just racing our own race. No. But also you're a weakened B grade because a lot of your top riders have gone up to A. Right. So you've all really got to work together, and maybe C grade can pull something together.
Do you not want C grade to win, mate? Like, you shouldn't be giving these tips.
I'm just trying to say this is C grade's chance. These are the races.
Like, all the B graders watch this show, they're going to go, Alexi knows best. We're going to have to really work next week.
We are actually going to have to do some work. And so, John, are you able to give us any, are you able to look in there, pull out your crystal ball and give us any insight on what riders you expect from B grade will be racing in the A grade?
Anyone can opt to ride the 20-lap scratch race. But this week, when the email goes out, by the way, the entries are open already on Buncher. We're expecting big numbers, but I think it'll be the obvious riders that have been placing consistently. But it's up to them whether they want to try their luck. Obviously, guys like Johnny Garrett, Luke Cromer, Dan Daly and Grant Holbert. Grant Holbert wasn't there on Tuesday night, but I definitely see him as a candidate to ride the elite race. Reese Williams, maybe Mason Ward, Josh Dunford, Ash. I can't remember that Ash had a go at it last year. Ethan Huang, I can't see any reason why he wouldn't want to step up. A couple of the others, maybe Robbie Allen, Robbie Crichton. Robbie wasn't there on Tuesday night, but all the obvious choices. Andrew Jacobs, definitely.
Okay, so you'll expect to see
Charlie Paul's going to have a crack.
Okay, so you expect
Charlie should be having a crack.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think the way you look at it is it's the final race of 2025. And so if you are thinking about having a crack, this is the race where you go, can I do it? So
Yes,
up
I've
you
been
go.
Riding B grade, I've been doing really, really well. I wonder how well I could go in an A grade race. Well, you're going to find out.
Yep.
I most probably know what the answer is for you, but I'll let you find out next
It
week.
also, for those who come and spectate, it's also a different race though for the A graders because it's not a handicap for them.
That's right.
And so they're not racing to get to the front of the race. They are at the front of the race from the moment they roll out for their 20 laps.
Yeah, exactly. And as I explained to someone last Tuesday night, I can guarantee you that in the opening laps of a handicap, A grade are working together, that in that scratch race next Tuesday night, Edwin Brits will not be thinking about just keeping it nice and smooth. Or Scotty Law for that matter.
Right.
Will be gone.
Yeah. And just remember, like, I think people really need to understand that this is not just like another race. You know, like if you win the trophy race, you pretty much will made, your season. You can sign with the pro team and, get on the podium of some major races. But if you don't win the trophy race, realistically, you haven't really completed your career. So it's on next week and people really need to be, getting smartened up and the crowd needs to come out.
Will come down a race.
That is actually a perfect reminder. I may have my monuments mixed up, but was it not the race? Because obviously the B and C grade, I don't know, well, let's just call it the B and C grade trophy race just for the purpose. It may have an official name. I've got no idea. Was this the ride that Lucas Stevenson?
No, he won the Spurgeon race.
He won the Spurgeon race.
He won the Memorial Handicap.
Because let's make sure we call that out, that he is actually riding the Tour Down Under.
Can you believe that?
He has been selected to race Tour Down Under
C grade 3 years ago.
3 years ago, racing Heffron C grade, goes off the front, launches his career at one of the our second monument of the season.
The Memorial races in January.
When people say, what's the point of winning Heffron? Well, 3 years later, you're racing the Tour Down Under. And I think that's why a lot of our juniors will also be looking at and thinking, well, he's there. Benny Coates is in Europe next year. I mean, this is the monument races launch your career. As you saw, well, look at Brad Mills' joy last year.
Yeah, indeed. And so don't be too disappointed if you're riding the BC, the handicap race at the Trophy Handicap, because as we just said, it's launched Lucas. No, not Lucas, but winning that is
stepping stone.
A lot of kudos involved.
Yeah. So we expect big numbers there, but also just wanted to say as well, though, Lucas, congratulations. It's fantastic from everyone here.
That's amazing. And also in the TDU women's, Hannah Giannotti.
Yes, and Anna Dubier, both who have raced Heffron this season.
Yeah, are regular Heffron attendees. Yeah.
Like, this is
as soon as they make it, that's what they just look at the air. We're not going to consider. Oh, hang on, they race Tuesday, not Heffron. They're definitely in. That's
well,
exactly
they know then, like for riders like Anna and Hannah, they can obviously keep up with the pro peloton.
Yeah,
because they are riding around Heffron on a Tuesday night. There is no better racing. There is no better standard of racing. I mean, I almost can't believe they don't bring a round of Tour Down Under to Tuesday night.
We've talked about that before, and we might. I actually might reach out to Stewie and.
I just think UCI have got to get themselves organised.
Well, look at the Tour de France and the Vuelta and the Giro. They always start regularly in a country outside their home.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it would be no big deal. It would you go straight from Heffron. It's close to the airport. get the charter flight back to Adelaide that night.
Yeah.
Wake up the next morning and be on the road to Doonanda, no problem.
Yeah, done.
And the
One
thing,
little
the thing
shout
is,
out.
all they'd have to know is you just have to hope, though, that they'd beat the rest of our regular A graders.
Yeah.
Because, you can
Well.
imagine Edwin Brits, Kurt Ether, they'd put up a pretty good show.
Yeah.
So just looking at the trophy race on the list, I'm looking for riders that have won it in the recent years that may be on the start line. So obviously Kurt Ether, well, Millsy, I'm sure he's going to be on the start line, broken or not. Kurt Ether, 2023, we expect to see Kurt there. 222 winner, Tommy Bolton. Kurt again in 21. We haven't seen much of Crido. So Crido won in 2020.
Crido will be there. Unless there is a raging bushfire somewhere, even then, it won't matter. He'll be there. Just don't burn your house down next Tuesday night. That's all we can suggest. Don't get your cat stuck in a tree and think that is going to be the main priority for people. So, and then who else?
We can expect to see riders who have, won this race recently to be back competing.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. Vaughan, we'll throw to your shout out.
Yeah, so I'm going to be next week, obviously, because I'm going to be on the microphone. But we are doing something really special with some coffee. It's called the Festive 500. It's got a little cyclist pulling Santa, but we're donating money to the Smith family. So it's for underprivileged families who can't afford presents. So I'm going to bring a whole heap of bags of super duper beautiful coffee next week. So look, check out for that. You can go and check it out at unboundvelo.com. And we're going to donate some money to some underprivileged families. So check that out. So thanks, boys.
Sorry, could you just say that website just a little clearer?
Unboundvelo.com.
Unbound Velo. I thought you said undone velo. I'm like, what is undone velo? That's something that needs to get reworked. But Unbound Velo, rightio, we can check it out, or you'll have your beans there on Wednesday. I'd say you just almost setting up in like an illegal store on the hill there. You've got your Hydraplay. You probably buy some cycling kit there. You've got, you'll have your beans. Unbelievable. You are a man with many talents, all while calling a bike race.
ABNs.
Yeah, many ABNs. Let's call me Liam Kelly.
So with that, we expect to see big turnout next Tuesday night for the first monument of the season, the last race of the season as well for us.
Christmas break. And thinking ahead, I think it's Tuesday, the 13th of January, 2026. So you've got a nice summer break with plenty of opportunities to get some training in.
That's awesome. Right. And of course, I would say, therefore, if you are looking to feed your family over the Christmas break, obviously Char Grill Charlie's.
Oh,
they must do some great food.
Family bucket for Christmas Day.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, or maybe you need a tune-up for your car with Sydney City Skoda. That might be under your tree. One of their new cars.
Go and buy a new apartment at one of Harold Ambus's new developments.
That's right.
Or go to Cache and
a new bike chain,
tires,
new brake pads.
Yeah, and if you'd like some new e-cycling kit from Detour Custom, you know where to go.
We don't want to get too many more sponsors. It'll go forever. Yeah. But while we don't have a lot of sponsors, we also have every week the fabulous work of Rich Scriven. Yeah. Once again, he's going to be providing all the photos that appear here. I don't think St. John's got a run on Tuesday night. I think they had another cruisy night.
Quite nice.
So, they got the car out of the panel beaters, so they're doing well. But with that, gentlemen, I think it's been another wonderful week. What do we say?
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Yow.